Welcome back, everybody, to Fargonauts. We're playing Lethal Alliance, a Star Wars video game for the PSP, and we're doing some tech synth. And we got some Jown, we got some Goop and Goober, or whatever they're, Gordon.
Goop and Gordon.
Goop and Gordon. And yeah, Bradshaw, did you have one?
I had to re-roll it
Okay.
because I realized one of my words was misspelled in my prompt.
Oh, okay.
For shame.
Oh God.
Ooh, it's sounding like it's going to be a good one. I hope it's more George Clooney and Leo DiCaprio farting.
No, dude. It's related to part of that.
Okay. Like, is a guy telling a story about him working on a movie with Robert Zemeckis and...
Robert Zemeckis. No. Okay. So I'll read what I got here. So, my prompt includes part of what, like, I had a prompt, and then it continued, and I kept some of that, but not all of it. So I'm just gonna start and go. Goop says, "Does Goofy ever goo on himself when he tickles his pickle?"
God.
Gordon says, "You mean, did he ever spleef his geef?" Goofy's goo is an interesting topic to talk about because the goo can range anywhere from completely white to completely black. He laughs. However, most people don't know there are many different types of goo out there, since it is all completely unknown in the scientific community.
It's getting
A number
about goo.
a number of people do know about goo, but there are still so many unanswered questions about how goo develops. Goofy's goo is composed of 3 to 4 layers that may be separated by air, but ultimately come into contact with the ground. Gordon, what about the other flavors? The peach, strawberry, cinnamon?
What?
It goes, Kotaku East is your slice of Asian entertainment culture, bringing you the latest talking points from Japan, Korea, China, and beyond. Tune in every morning from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Advertisement. We talked to some of the world's most noted scientists, as well as some fascinating details about goo's chemical composition and evolution. Take note that as Goofy tickles his pickle, his goo is basically one-dimensional, and it's really weird. I would like to note that there is an old tradition where if you try to shake your head and stare out the window, you will be greeted with an odd-looking blob of green goo. If you try to get out of your head while you will eventually reach the top of the window. It's like a ghost's face coming back to life.
What?
Advertisement.
Can you go
That's about it for our Japanese scientists, but for those outside of Japan, go to our website. It's like an oddball of weird science, but it's all there. Kotaku East is your slice of Eastern internet culture, bringing you the latest talking points from Japan, Korea, China, and beyond. Tune in every morning from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Can you go back and read more?
Wow.
Read that one again.
If you shake your head and look out the window,
Yeah,
you will be greeted by a bomb of green goo.
I would like to note that there's an old tradition where if you try to shake your head and stare out of the window, you will be greeted with an odd-looking blob of green goo. If you try to get out of your head, you will eventually reach the top of the window. It's like a ghost's face coming back to life.
I didn't understand a single word. If that was from like a Kotaku thing, that's like acid trip right there.
Dude, it's so fucking... Ugh.
It's America's pastime. Just go out to the window, shake your head, and then green goo will be there. Like, hey,
The strange, odd green goo.
that was amazing.
What more do you want from me?
I know, dude.
How'd you
The
get
goo.
that prompt? That prompt was great.
Well, I started... My prompt when I started was Goop saying, "Does Goofy ever goo on himself when he tickles his pickle?" And then Gordon saying, "You mean, does he ever spleef his geef?" And then I said, "Goofy's goo is an interesting topic, too." And then I hit go. And then from there was all their stuff.
That was so
So,
great. Oh boy.
yeah.
That one was
That was
awesome.
pretty good.
I kept the completely white and completely black goo stuff from the previous first one that I didn't like as much, and then added it to it, and then it kept going from there. So,
but it also has 4 layers that do come into contact with air, but eventually they come into contact with the ground.
Yes.
So there is that.
Exactly.
Will you post that in Discord as well, please? That was very good.
Doing it right now. My favorite line is still, "It's like a ghost's face coming back to life." I don't know why that one just tickles me, but it does.
That got me too. I was like, what is happening?
Goofy's goo, dude.
How is that a simile, you know?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to Google search Gorton and Goofy and see what happens.
Okay.
Gorton.
You guys ready for one here?
Oh, of course. I was born ready, just like Eric.
Okay. We interviewed Mr. Lucas, who had a lot to say about the topic. You know, Goofy originally wasn't supposed to be force sensitive, but it made more sense for him to be able to stand up to Kermit with his own powers. Mr. Lucas explained that while a lot of Disney animation was inoffensive to many audience members, especially teenagers, Mr. Lucas's presentation of Goofy was much more powerful. As a 13-year-old at the time, I remember saying, "They're too weird." Mr. Lucas remembered how he realized that Goofy could go toe-to-toe with people from his home in Indiana. You know, because Goofy could be any shape, and his powers were so strong it made even more sense. It was more effective on my kids. Even though some viewers were upset by the portrayal of Darth Vader, he had nothing but respect for the fans that came out to show their support. You know, I think it was the perfect thing for them to show their appreciation for something they had worked so hard for. They were really proud of us, and they saw us doing this together. As to which character was the hardest to create, Mr. Lucas said, "Leave it on a suspenseful note."
Ooh, interesting. I wonder what he said.
You want to know what he said? Because it just hit more.
I was like, Goofy's a fucking bastard.
As to which character was the hardest to create, Mr. Lucas said, that Darth Vader was fun because it was funny, but also because he was so powerful. You know, he's going to become Darth Vader because of his abilities and by doing his evil work on a human life, which was really the big goal for him. He explained that there had never been a character that was a really bad guy because he loved what he was doing and wanted to help his friends get better. When Mr. Lucas announced that the Star Wars Rebels would be coming to the... leaving it on a suspenseful note again.
I bet it's like TV or streaming platform or something like that.
Probably.
Eric, are you doing more, or what are you doing?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go to
Can't
bed.
stop this train, baby.
Go to bed, please.
I'm building off Wilson here and having Goop ask George Lucas a question.
Oh man.
And we'll see what happens here.
Crossing of the streams.
Oh shit.
What happened, Eric? Tell me all about it.
Lay it on me, baby.
Tell me what it's about.
Fucking Goofy entered the chat.
Goofy has entered the chat.
Oh, yuck.
Okay.
Yuck Master 34, thank you for the 36 months. Goofy the streamer.
Alright. We'll just go here. Alright, so Goop asks, "Wow, George Lucas, must ask what you think about Goofy's goo. What do you think about adding such a big Disney icon to Star Wars?" George Lucas. And then that's where my prompt ends. I just say that, and then I type George Lucas : and then we let it fly. So, George Lucas, I love Disney. Yes, I'm completely aware that Star Wars fits all of my Disney values. However, I would like to see some sort of tie-in with Star Wars that would appeal to Disney fans and Star Wars fans in general. And so I'm looking at Goofy and some sort of Disney connection that would appeal to both. Goofy says, "George, Disney have done so many good things for kids and families, and in part that's because all things Star Wars were the result of their hard work. A lot of people think the toys are trash, and I agree that certain things aren't original or originality, and I agree that they shouldn't be used because of being so childish and overused, but that they should go back in time and make toys that better represent the originals and create a new universe, right? I think we can all make a new one, right? George Lucas.
Right?
Goofy, I do. He grins. But the best part about Disney is that, yes, they have brought some sort of Disney connection to Star Wars, and they have built it into the fabric of this great universe. I guess I wouldn't call that a tie-in. Goofy. George, you've also had some mixed results with Disney projects. For example, this new film, Star Wars Rogue One, has a great track record of being wildly successful at the box office. It is definitely a successful franchise, but it seems to lack a truly iconic element, and thus it does not necessarily have enough fan engagement to become a box office success either. You recently said you plan to try to make the movie's iconic Star Wars elements accessible to someone who's new to the franchise. What about younger viewers would you do to make the Star Wars film accessible? George Lucas. As an example, the Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back was released in the fall of 1977 to a very receptive audience, and I think it has done, and that's where it ends. Goofy's fucking grilling George, dude.
I know,
Jesus.
It's like Frost Nixon. Goof,
I know, wow.
Goof Lucas.
I'm gonna try this again. Oh, I'm gonna keep going, but I kept the same prompt, right?
Yeah.
And so George Lucas responds to wow, George Lucas, I must ask you what you think about Goofy's Goo. What do you think about adding such a big Disney icon to Star Wars? George Lucas. I love it. If I had to guess, I think it would appeal to younger kids. It has the same emotional feeling that you feel when you're standing on the moon. So I think they would fall in love with the concept.
What?
Goofy says, but it still has the classic feel of a Disney classic because he could fly. And that was really cool. George Lucas. Yeah, definitely. Goofy. Do you like the Goofy?
What? Do you like the Goofy?
It doesn't end in any sort of period or question mark or anything. I'm gonna click more, but I just liked that was a oh god. Do you like the Goofy?
Do you like the Goofy?
Do you like the Goofy? Tell me now.
Goofy's going full Buffalo Bill. Would you fuck me?
Do you like the Goofy?
It puts the goop on its skin.
It puts the goo on its skin.
Or else it
shakes
gets
its
the
head
window.
and looks out the window.
It shakes the head. It shakes the head.
It shakes its head and looks out the window. Hey, shut up! I'll get the goo. Don't make me get the goo. There's something in her throat. And this is goo.
This is just goop.
Oh, this is just goo. This is just goofy goo.
Hey, I got a new gun. Heck yeah. Heck yuck. But we'll be back with more Lethal Alliance. I'll tweak this game a little bit. I'll tweak-like this game a little bit and make it.
I elected that one.
I'll do what I can, make it run a little smoother, and we'll be back with more tech synth and this amazing storyline that we're creating, from Jown to Goofy to Goop and Gordon
to George Lucas.
George Lucas getting berated by Goofy. It's all great, and Bradshaw is just entranced.
What the heck, George?
What the heck?